Hi everyone, welcome to Footprints in the Market. Today we have another fantastic guest. I want to say a big thank you to Shannon from CBS Global, who's joining us today.
Hi Sharon, appreciate the invite onto the podcast.
Thank you so much for coming on. So what I thought would be good is if you could just give the listeners a little bit of a background about your journey within the iGaming industry and how you arrived here.
Yeah, so I started roughly around 2009, 2010 as an affiliate in the sports, doing sports. I launched a site called Football Betting Sites, .co.uk. Just basically, I had a normal 9-to-5 job, and I seen there was a bit of an angle to make a bit of money online. And obviously the industry was fairly new then. There wasn't many people. It wasn't as busy as it is now anyway, to say the least.
Back in the good old days.
Yeah, basically. But once we started, I was a big sports fan, and it was more a hobby in terms of doing stuff like that. But as soon as I started doing it, I noticed bingo was where a lot of people were making money, in terms of like there was Richard Scouthone's Costa Bingo, there was Foxy Bingo, and they were sponsoring like Jeremy Cow and stuff like that back in the day. And bingo was literally a very lucrative place to be. So I started popping up bingo sites and things like that, and basically come to a point where while I was near enough earning as a wage in a full-time job, I was making more just doing that on the side. And I was thinking, I'm only doing 3 or 4 hours of this per night, and I'm making more money than what I do in a month. So cut a long story short, Rover Media, owned by Trevor Edwards, I got employed by him. We moved my affiliate sites over to him, so he acquired my affiliate sites. And then basically Trev was an absolute genius in terms of the affiliate marketing for affiliate sites, and he just got into white label when I got employed by him. So my job was obviously to work on his affiliate sites in terms of the SEO and the brand, the marketing of the sites, and how to get them the presence in Google, and obviously just overall branding of the sites. And then basically I got trained up in terms of the operation side in terms of white labels. So I started doing the white label stuff for Trev, and all the marketing for the white labels. So we had an affiliate side of the business, and we'd have a white label side of the business, all based in the UK market and the German market. Me and Trev worked together for around 8 or 9 years. He eventually sold his site on, and then I took a sabbatical for 18 months. Because obviously, as you know, Sharon, this industry is quite intense. So I was quite burnt out. And then basically the role with CBS to come in and originally come in to do the head of SEO, but I'm basically the brand manager and operations manager here as well. So I'm doing multiple hats, wearing multiple hats at CBS. So yeah, that's where I am now, really.
Well, within iGaming, that everything moves really, really fast. So even within that 18-month period, did you find that when you came back, like it had evolved massively, or had it just kind of stayed the same? What was your experience of that?
So no, it was the same.
Right.
But yeah, it had evolved. So crypto. So back when we were over, we were heavily looking at crypto in the last 18 months before the sites were acquired. And we were looking at the crypto side. When I come back, that crypto side of the industry has accelerated a lot. It's massive now, crypto. And obviously I'd come into CBS to their main brand is a crypto brand. So I was like, okay, this is quite big. But what I've noticed since the time I've been gone and the time I'm here now, like crypto players now are like 2 to 3 times more valuable than fiat players.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the case when I left. Nowhere near. So that's a massive shift in the industry. Obviously, AI, ChatGPT had changed a lot. That had obviously come out in the 18 months I'd been away. It been out, but it being used a lot more now, and people obviously are throwing sites up and obviously just getting the content off ChatGPT rather than using a human. So that was a change in the industry, really. So mainly them two things really had been the two things what I'd noticed straight off the bat when I first come back in.
Well, in terms of your role, obviously, like SEO is quite a big part of that.
Yeah.
Do you think that your overarching SEO strategy differs from other industries? Do you think like iGaming's quite niche within that, or do you think it's pretty much a one-size-fits-all approach?
No, I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all approach at all. I think it is completely different in terms of iGaming. It's a bit more of a shark tank in terms of the way you market your site and basically in terms of the way you acquire your links. Digital PR seems to be quite a big thing currently, or has been for the past few years now, and people are obviously getting articles on newspaper links and stuff like that. But it is the iGaming SEO industry is, I think, it's a lot more intense than other industries. Saying that though, what we do at CBS is we don't just look at our competitors in the iGaming industry. I look at the fashion brands. I look at all over different types of industries and different types of brands, and I look at what they're doing in their SEO, because there is little nuggets and pieces of information you can get, which basically you can apply into the iGaming industry. I don't believe in basically just looking at what Paddy Power, Bet365 or the big hitters are doing and just copying that. You're not going to get nowhere doing that, because they've got much larger budgets, and so it's been a bit different in terms of looking outside of the standard practice and picking little nuggets up. But I do think, back to your original question, the iGaming industry is a lot more a bit different to any other SEO.
I think for us, what we've noticed, like agency side, is that it has become so much more in terms of like educational content and informational content for players that it wasn't quite there. Like when we first started, maybe like 15 years ago. So like, how have you guys like applied that to your SEO strategy? Like, are you focused more on long tail keywords? Are you having like adding media based content to give them like different ways to digest it? Like, how are you dealing with that?
The thing I've always had for the past 6 or 7 years is that the philosophy I go after, low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
So you've got all your big keywords like mobile casino or casino sites and stuff like that, which have lots of traffic, lots of clicks and lots of traffic, but they're that hard to rank for. Yeah. you need a big SEO budget, and you can. That's not saying you can't. If you're a startup, that's not saying you can't rank for them. You can, but it'll take a lot of money and a lot of time. Yeah. So the way I look at things is, if I want 50,000 clicks, I'll look at getting 50 keywords at 1,000 clicks and do it that way. And then but that way as well, you're looking at spreading your risk. So basically, if you're targeting one massive keyword, say for example, casino site, and then you drop from the top 10 to the top 100, and you've not really got no other strategy, and your traffic's gone. Yeah. So you got basically, I got told earlier on, diversify or die.
We'll have that time stamped.
It literally is. It's diversity or die. You've got to diversify, and don't have all your eggs in one basket. Yeah. Literally have multiple keywords, and obviously that depends what type of brand you've got. Obviously, we've got CBS, we've got Casino Kings, completely two different entities, two different SEO setups, two different marketing setups. So it's basically what type of keywords you're going after, but you need to branch out and go for as many as you can, and as many quality ones as you can.
You touched on AI earlier. That's a bit controversial. Every single person I speak to has got a different kind of opinion on it and how they adopt it. Do you guys use that at all in any part of your content strategy, and what's your kind of overall thoughts on
it? I'm against it. It's a good informational tool. Yeah. So if you want information on something, I think AI is really good, and I think it can help in terms of content, in terms if you wanted some sort of information, but I wouldn't use it as a copy and paste job. I think human interaction. I went to a conference in Malaga, AFPAPA, And someone used an analogy, which I thought was quite good. Is basically said if you wanted to find a pub, ChatGPT or Google, they can tell you where that pub is.
Mhm.
So you can tell your nearest pub, but it doesn't tell you your taste.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you can go to that place, but it might the drinks in there might not be to your taste. And that's the same way I look at ChatGPT and stuff and AI. Basically, it can tell you the like information, but it doesn't basically tell you what that customer actually, the intention behind that customer and what they actually like.
100%.
So I just think like human content is key. And that's the way we adapt it as a business anyway here at CBS. Saying that though, I do believe moving forward it's going to get more advanced, and I think it will come into play a lot more in the industry. But at this current time, I'd personally just use it as an informational tool.
Yep.
The information, but I wouldn't be using it as content. I would, in the long term, if you want success as a business in the long term, it's not sustainable to use AI, ChatGPT or AI for your content.
I think as well, like because iGaming is quite competitive, it's already quite difficult to find your niche. So if you've got kind of like ideas that are prompted from AI and not from human that are unique, then I think that would probably cause some difficulties as well. When you're looking at supplementing your SEO with like good PR, good marketing, good social media strategies. Do you think that's fair to say?
Spot on, because he doesn't know your marketing value. He doesn't unless you're Bet365 or one of the big hitters with there's loads of informational data it can pull. But if you're like a startup or you're not that well known, it's not going to be it won't know your marketing strategy. It doesn't know when you're sat in meetings with your team, giving ideas. It doesn't know that information and stuff like that. So again, informational, to get informational stuff and stuff like that. But I think like human content is better, and obviously having an in-house team or having an agency who you work very close with, who knows your brand inside out and knows basically what you're looking to aim and achieve, like a brand identity.
In terms of not even just SEO but marketing overall, because I know you're like take care of the brands overall as well.
Yeah.
What sort of KPIs do you focus on when you're sort of measuring the success of SEO and any marketing activity that you're outputting? So
obviously I like to put like the customer first and stuff like that, but being realistic as well, traffic is number one. Obviously you live and die, like obviously we want to look after our customers, but we've got no customers coming in. We've got no brand. So traffic is number one really. So one of the main KPIs we look at is basically what type of traffic which is coming in, and then obviously the search appearance as well for the SEO side of stuff. In terms of the marketing, again, it's just appearance. Basically, how many eyes are seeing that brand, and where we can see the brand is that we don't want to we want to see it in behind our strategy. So in the places we want to see. So for example, if we're running a campaign in Manchester, which we currently are at the minute, for our sports book, where them banners are going to be, where them locations are going to be. Obviously, we're going to be to put them outside sports stadiums, so because we want sports customers, and that's where they go. We're not going to stick them outside the Arndale, because that's people go shopping there. You know what I mean? So it's literally just being smart in terms of like, I know these are quite simple things to say, but people will make mistakes like that, like they won't stick. So yeah.
Is there any like tools that you guys use to help you analyze and monitor performance, like even like from an SEO perspective or like a social media listening tool?
Yeah, we do. So I'll tell you the ones the majority of iGaming people use, and then obviously some of the ones I'll just keep to myself. If that's okay.
That's for the next episode.
Yeah, that's a Patreon episode. You don't pay for that one. So SEMrush, Ahrefs, link research tools. I think maybe a lot of people don't know about that one, but that's Christopher Kemper's tool to really, for deep dive in SEO and link structures and stuff, that's a really, really good one. But they're your basic ones. We use that as a company. Obviously, we're on them 24/7. We're monitoring basically the clicks, the visibility, the domain ratings. We're watching everything like site speed, on a daily basis. We have built a team here who look at everything all the time. We do use other tools. I'll just keep some of them to myself if that's okay. But one thing we do, like I said, we look at the tools obviously in this industry. There's what people use in our game industry, but we also look at tools which people use in other industries as well. So like I said, we'll look at like aviation, we'll look at fashion and stuff like that, and we'll look basically what they're doing. And if there's anything we feel we can take from there and add to our strategies in terms of tools they're using to monitor customer UX, or how the customer journey, how they may interact when they come to our site, and if there's a way we can maybe get them to click here rather than click there, we'll constantly just look at all different things like that.
In terms of monitoring, obviously this year we've had March's core update followed by August update last month. Have you guys been affected by that at all, either from like an operator or affiliate side, and how have you sort of dealt with that?
Yeah, well, August we have slightly, so on a positive and a negative. So on the operating side, we've seen really good positive results. Google, the updates really benefited us. We started seeing an increase in organic traffic and domain ratings going up. So we've been really happy with that. Affiliate side, it's been a mixed bag. Some of our affiliate sites have been really good. One or two of them have took a hit slightly, and we're still trying to analyze what actually has gone wrong there, because basically we have different strategies, but overall the strategy is pretty much the same for the whole lot of them. We know what works. So one's took a slight hit, the rest have actually improved. So we're just analysing what's gone wrong with the one that's took the hit, but the rest of them, it's been 94% positive for us, the update. It's not being anything, but what we tend to do, and I've seen like yourself, Shannon, we both have been in the industry a long time. We've been through a lot of updates. Yeah, so it comes to the point where it doesn't really ruffle my feathers anymore when there's an update. We just plan. We're constantly reading like the Google Roundtable. We're looking at X. We're looking at what people are saying on LinkedIn. We're looking at other experts in the industry. We're following the chitter chatter, seeing what's going on, and we're just basically keeping our house in check, basically, and following the right process. What I feel is the right process for the company. And to be fair, touch wood, we've never really, in all years of being in this, I've never really took a massive hit. Yeah. I say that now, but yeah. So far, yeah, but we monitor it all the time. We're just watching the chitter chatter and stuff, and seeing what people are saying and stuff.
Do you think that EAT will play a larger role post sort of August update? Just because obviously with iGaming, trust, safety, security, it's something that we need to pay huge amounts of attention to, just because of the nature of the product that we're selling.
I'd say possibly. It's hard to say. I think if we're keeping everything in check in terms of our content's relevant, it's Q&A, it's all relevant content, it's all written by a human, and we're ticking all the boxes. I don't see any major issues, but it's hard to say, to be fair.
And how do you sort of balance your SEO efforts when it comes to organic and paid search? How do you find that balance of traffic that you'll pay for and traffic that you kind of want to rank for organically?
So I've always been a fan of organic traffic. That's the first and forefront of any business I've worked for, and the strategy I always put behind my team. Basically, organics first. Obviously, affiliate follows on just as important as that for the operating side, but for your affiliate sites and stuff, organic and is very important. So we always put organic first. We always put, like I said, we target low-hanging keywords. We're looking at different markets and different approaches, how we can get that traffic in the door and build up as much as we can. In terms of paid search, we use Google quite a lot, PPC. But it's something which is secondary to organic, because as you probably know yourself, and a lot of people in the industry will know, if you get PPC wrong, you can lose a lot of money very quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
So the strategy has to be spot on with PPC. And again, so far we've had really good campaigns. When I was at Rovert and when we're here at CBS, we also use Snapchat, and we touch on Meta sometimes, but it's mainly Snapchat and PPC we use. But if it's going organic here, that's my thing is PPA is paid, and that's just literally just because of the risks involved in terms of basically what could potentially happen. It's a bit of a roll of dice with PPC, especially if you get it wrong.
I also wanted to touch quickly on the technical side of things. So one of the things that we've had as an agency, and definitely a challenge that we've had to kind of find workarounds to, that I think probably is different from other industries, is that both affiliate and operator sites have got so much rich media within there, and it's a challenge to sort of get a fast loading site, in a tier 2 core web vitals. Is that something that you guys have had problems with? I know you said that you monitor that quite a lot. Is there any kind of tips or anything that you can give anybody who's having that difficulty if they've just kind of launched a new brand?
Yeah, so site speed is on my priority list when we're launching a brand or launching a new brand. Site speed is up there as one of the most important things with the content, because obviously you want the content you need to rank, and that's important. So that's visibility in Google. If you're ranking, your site needs to load quick. And especially in the casino industry, in the iGaming industry, if you're waiting more than 3 seconds, 4 seconds to get onto the site, they're clicking back and they're clicking on your competitor. So it needs to be quick. It needs to be quick. So we look at basically serving things like Cloudflare. We look at things which can basically improve the speed of our site. So that basically the theme, the servers. We use very good digital agencies to build our sites. make sure the site speed's quick before we launch them.
I'm not
So yeah. We cover every check before we make it live, and that's what I recommend to anyone who's starting a business now, or iGaming business, whether it's just a small affiliate site. Yeah. Before you hit that live button, I know the fast thing is to let's get this live, let's get ranking in Google, it gets moving. Take a few steps back, make sure it's ready to go live, do the tests, make sure the speed's there, make sure your content's right, just double track, triple check everything, and then launch it live. Because obviously, if you launch it live and then Google crawls it, and site speed's rubbish and it's not doing very well, and then you're fixing it, and then it's not a great start. It's not a great start for Google, for them when they're crawling your site, and it's not a great start for anyone who basically comes across your site, because basically it's a lasting impression. Someone comes onto your site and that site was not good that day, it took 15 seconds to load.
Yeah.
They potentially remember that site, and if they see it again in the Google search, do you know what? Not clicking there, go to the next one. So it's the lasting impression. So you make sure you got your ducks in order before hitting that live button.
100%. I think that's a big mistake that some people do make. They're in such a rush to get their brand live that they actually then don't understand that when they need to retroactively fix all this stuff, that actually just takes so much more time anyway, from like a resource perspective.
It's a case, it's not I know people use this term, it's not a race, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It truly is. I think it literally, if you're starting, for example, if you're starting an affiliate site now, or even just a white label, it's finding your own niche. So finding that niche, don't worry about what everyone else is doing, find your niche. Find a gap in the market where you think, do you know what, there's not many people going after that niche. Find that niche. Take your time to get your marketing in order. Take your time to get your site in order and everything like that. Have everything ready and then push it live when everything's in order, instead of rushing, because rushing's just going to cause more problems. You're going to be fixing things when it's live. And so just take your time, think about it. There's no rush to do stuff.
Another thing I kind of wanted to touch on was emerging markets in SEO. Because obviously you guys have got some brands and you're targeting multiple geolocations. What are the kind of main factors that you're taking into consideration when you're, creating that overarching strategy?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. It's a question. It's a subject that potentially may make me go grey in future. But basically, when you're looking at it, content. So we can sit down as a team put a strategy together about a bunch of low-hanging keywords we're going to go after in different markets, push that content live, but then the content's in English. If it's a year target in Brazil, it's in Portuguese. Canada, you got Canadian and French. So you've got all different languages, basically. So but what you need to really do is think about what markets you want to go after and whether you have got a capability to translate that content. So the content obviously you're going to get written. You can use plugins to translate it, but I would recommend getting the content written from fresh. So you obviously, if you've got a site which is basically like Crypto Bet Sports, we're in multiple different markets. So obviously we're in the English. We're not in England, but we have English speaking visitors like in Canada and stuff like that. But we have Germany, obviously German speaking, French Canadian, and Brazilian who are Portuguese, who speak Portuguese. So when we're doing our content and our basically our SEO planning for that, what we look at is we look at low-hanging fruit and what kind of keywords we're going to go after, but then the content has to be rewritten for each language. So instead of, like I said, using a plugin to translate all the English into Portuguese, into German, what we do is we get a content writer to write the Portuguese, a content writer to write the German, so they're embedding our SEO strategy into that content, but also getting the tone of our company into that, which is so important because when Crypto Bet Sports, we have a marketing tone, we have a brand identity, and each piece of content we're putting out, we want our brand identity in that. And when you're in different markets, like different geos and stuff like that, you need to make sure you get your brand identity and your tone for your business into that content. Just translating it ain't going to get your tone, and it's going to do more damage in the long term. So anyone who's looking to launch a site, whether it's a white label or not, that's something you really need to take into consideration in what geos, because the more geos you're in, the more work you've got. But on the flip side, potentially the more revenue you've got. So
yeah. Do you think that there's that balance then? So say, like, you know, you've got a budget and you think, I want to target all of these geos, but actually I don't have the budget to get kind of all of this content translated. Do you think that there's a balance within that to say, do you know what, say to start off with, target fewer geos?
I'd say so, yeah. So we like I said, one of the business things we decided to do as a business when I've come in is basically to go into the UK market. So it's a first for this brand to go into the UK market. I don't think it was on the radar before I come in. So that I thought was the two for us just to be set in one market. I think for a company would be really beneficial because obviously it's one market. Our strategy is quite easy to do. Our branding's quite easy to do. But saying that, I would say, yeah, I'd look at not going in unless you've got an unlimited budget or like a massive budget and a massive team. I would look at maybe just picking 2 or 3 geos, which are quite simple to manage to start with. And then once you're making money, once the growth's there, once you see the market and then everything's kicking into place, grow the business, launching a new geo, make a big deal of it, big marketing campaign. We're moving into this geo. And that's the way I would do it personally, because it is, especially if you've got a small team or you're a startup, to work in multiple geos is hard work. And I think obviously a lot of people see the revenue and deposits as the main thing, but you do need to invest in content. And whether that's you bring a good content team in-house or whether you get a really top agency to do your content, you need to invest in your content, and you need to basically get that agency or that person you bring in or that team you bring in to understand your brand and your tone and what you want to achieve in, not now, but in 18 to 24 months. You need to be planning ahead. You need to have that brand identity.
I think it probably also goes back to that conversation we were having earlier about AI and how, like, you know, maybe if it's too easy, then it's not right, if that makes sense. So, like,
it's true. I think back in the day, I'm saying back in the day again, but you used to have affiliates who used to come on, and for our sites when we're over it, and we'd be looking in the Google search and they go, that's our content. and they've gone on and just copied and pasted our content. And that's how I see AI a bit like now. They're not copying and pasting our content, but it's not relevant to what their brand. It's just like a quick pop-up, and they're just trying to get traffic. And if you go in with that approach, it will fail eventually, or you're going to run into trouble, and then you're going to have to fix things. So like I said, I think pre-planning, investing in content, and doing things right, and being patient with stuff is key.
So now I wanted to talk about the future. In your opinion, where do you see the future of not just SEO in the iGaming industry, but marketing as a whole? Is there anything that you're watching closely? Is there any like new trends that you think that you might consider adopting to any of the brands that you're taking care of? Where do you see things?
Yeah, so I was starting with SEO. I think like digital PR is like something we always keep a close eye on in terms of how that works, in terms of basically getting your brand name out there, but also obviously you're going to make a good piece of content with a major publication. You potentially make a good link, whether it depends whether it's no follow or not. But there is that. So digital PR is something we always try to keep a close eye on. Obviously, there's loads of agencies, offices are offering them services, and I think that you've just got to be careful when you're going into them deals, because obviously you got to make sure whether it's right for you and your business. And if you can do it yourself, I'd probably suggest having a look at that as well and seeing how you can do that yourself, depending on your budget. In terms of the other thing we mentioned was streamers.
Yeah,
it's something which is really, so what the question you asked me when you first come on about what's changed, and obviously it's like crypto, so streamers as
I've seen a lot of people do it well, but I've also seen some people do it not so well. So what's your thoughts on it overall as a strategy?
So we've used it. So in the UK, I don't think it's a thing. Yeah, it potentially will be, but it depends what the Gamble Commission do and what the rules and regulations are, whether they flex or not. But in Brazil, we've used streamers. In Canada, we've used streamers as crypto bet sports. Do work? I do think it's going to be. I do think streamers will be up there with affiliates.
Yeah.
In the coming years, because it's just the way people sit and watch people.
Yeah, exactly.
Play games, and that's, I know from having kids myself and stuff like that. They just sit and watch streamers playing games and stuff like that. So I do think streamers is going to be a really big thing and something to keep an eye on. And I think the crypto side of the iGaming industry is onto it already. And so if you look at them, a lot of streamers, like if you go to the conferences now, there's streamers there doing live videos and stuff. So I do see that as coming up there with affiliates. I think you have SEO. SEO won't go nowhere. It'll still be there.
Yeah.
You have affiliates, and I think streamers will be there with them as well. So I do think it's just a natural progression away from the UK market currently at the minute. Whether it comes into the UK market, I don't know. It just depends on regulation. But if you've got a casino or in Canada, Germany, or anywhere like that, Brazil, I don't see why you wouldn't use streamers.
100%. I mean, I think that the way that people are digesting content is completely evolved, and I think you're right. Like, I've got a 7-year-old, and she's like watching people play Roblox, and I'm
exactly.
like, and that is just the way like the world is moving. And I think that we kind of need to make sure that we're keeping up with those trends too, and not falling back.
It's true, because it's brand like influence. So basically, you see it on Instagram with products and stuff like that. But basically, if their favorite streamers playing CasinoKings.com or Crypto Bet Sports, and they've got 10,000 people watching them, and the influence of them potentially going to that site is quite high. So it's mad, but that's what's the way it's going. Same as voice notes, like voice search, like that. That's another thing as well. So it's mad.
So I'm going to end on a question that I've asked, and I'm going to ask all of our speakers at Footprints in the Market. If you were to start your time in iGaming again, and you were a brand new marketeer, what piece of advice do you wish that somebody gave you that you didn't know or that you've learned along the way?
Patience.
To be fair.
Patience. To potentially open a few more affiliate sites back in the day around bingo. But no, mainly, basically, the main things I've learned over the years is basically how to market a brand and how to hustle. So basically, don't be looking at what everyone else is doing, like in terms of all the big brands. Don't be washed away. Don't be influenced by if they're doing this and they're doing that and they're getting them numbers. It's irrelevant to you.
Yep.
The most important thing for you is to set a goal. Set that goal and then go out and try achieve that goal. So I always go start an A goal, B goal, C goal. Go small goal, achieve that, next thing. And like just patience, just basically just being patient and basically being consistent. And obviously prepare. And like one of the things, quotes I got told by my old boss, Trev, was people who don't prepare to fail.
Yeah.
And it's true, you've got to prepare. You just got to make sure you're prepared and everything's there. So again, it'd be patience and basically just preparing, and don't be copying. Have your own brand identity. Go with what you think's right and stick with it.
100%. I think that's a good note to end on. So thank you so much, Dan, for coming on and being a part of our new webinar. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.